We have not heard the conversion story that you're about to see. We're listening to this in real time.
These reactions, genuine,
So
real.
we have no idea about what's going to happen with Collin's conversion story. We don't even know where you're from. We don't know.
We don't even know your
about
name.
You. Well, we do.
I know.
Wait, where are you from? I'm gonna guess Connecticut,
No,
Massachusetts,
Utah.
Delaware.
I am from Utah.
Yes.
I'm definitely from Utah.
Like, get it.
I'm
Okay.
even from Salt Lake. But you've never heard of that.
So
Oh.
where does your story start, Colin? At your birth? At your 8th birthday? I feel like everyone's a little different.
I would say around birth. I
Okay,
just
this is good.
well, even it's not really about me
Before
in
birth?
the beginning. So my mom and her siblings and my grandma were baptized in '82. They're from Southern California, and they met with missionaries, and they were baptized. And then there's that window of time in between. I was born in 2000.
At the stroke of midnight, January 1st, 2000, elevators may stop. Airplanes and trains may come to a halt.
I don't know. I wasn't really active as a young child. That sounds really weird.
Well, like, did your parents, were they active when you were born?
Not
It's like kinda.
kind of, but not really.
You're sure. So like growing up, did you go to church?
I went a couple times.
Sure, a few
I asked my
times.
mom this morning, actually, if I'd ever gone to primary before we moved, and she said no.
Gotcha.
So,
So like it existed, like you knew of the church.
yeah. I remember having these books like My First Articles of Faith or My First Book of Mormon, and I would read through those, and that's like about all I knew. And my mom used to sing these two primary songs to me if I was like not able to sleep or if I was sick. So those are that's really everything I remember from when I was little. But
Right.
we weren't very active when I was little, and then we ended up moving to New Hampshire in 2005.
You were close.
Yeah, you were really
Connecticut.
close.
Yeah, that was impressive. Okay.
So I lived in New Hampshire for about 6 years, and while we were there, I wasn't very active either. We had maybe gone to church once or twice, and I remember going one time and sitting in primary and not really liking it because I couldn't be with my mom. And I remember crying and having to go to the Relief Society room and like just bawling my eyes out. We left early, obviously, so it was kind of it was a great experience. Yep. So while we were there, I didn't really know much about the church either. And then we ended up moving back to Utah in 2012. So I came to stay the summer with my grandma. My mom was going to finish up work in New Hampshire and then move out at the end of the summer, and so I went to church with my grandma, and I don't really know exactly how it got set up, but I ended up meeting with missionaries. One was from Apia, Samoa, and the other was from Mesa, Arizona.
Ooh, exotic.
I remember my grandma asking if he was disappointed for getting sent to Salt Lake, and I felt really bad for him. I wouldn't have dared to say anything like that, but she
Grandmas, old people just
No,
say whatever.
yeah. One of my best friends,
Really don't.
when he got called to Salt Lake, his family laughed at him. Like he was on FaceTime, and he's
That's so
like,
sad.
and they're like, Salt Lake, and they're like, bah! And he was like, ah. Keep going.
That's. I mean, like I can't say I wouldn't maybe be
a
a little disappointed. I don't want to say disappointed, but like
Yeah.
Wherever the Lord calls you, but there's some places
but
that
still,
are cooler than others.
That's very true. So yeah, I met with missionaries that summer, and then I was baptized on August 18th of 2012, and from there I was very like enthusiastic and very invested in church, and slowly, I don't really know why, but I just kind of stopped wanting to go, and it kind of fell out of favor. I didn't have a lot of motivation at home,
Right.
just because like it wasn't really anyone else's thing, and I had done a lot of it on my own at that age too, and so I fell inactive about a year later after my baptism.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big decision to make as an 11-year-old to get baptized and like
and do it
join
on your
like an
own.
organized religion without really knowing what you're doing. Like, I took lessons and I listened and understood what I was being told. I just didn't really have the desire I thought I did. Fall of my senior year, I'm involved in theater at school. Well, I was, because I graduated, but we did Fiddler on the Roof, and I
Awesome.
played Tevye.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So, let me just take my moment to brag about how talented I am. But
Look at this guy.
just kidding. I'm really.
You're natural.
So, yeah, we did Fiddler on the Roof, and I took a lot of time to study the character. I really wanted to, like, do it some justice. I
Yeah.
had the directors telling me, they're like, this is one of the most classical roles, and you have to do it right, or you shouldn't do it. And so it was a lot of pressure. And during my study of his character, I understood, like, and it's like the main thing of the plot, he's very invested in his religion, and it's a very big part of him. And so it kind of made me reflect on me at the time, because I didn't really have a lot at the beginning of the school year that I was, in terms of religion and
Right.
what I was really
Like believing
in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of helped spark things.
Yeah.
And then around second semester of my senior year, I had already become good friends with my, like, current best friends, but I was invited to go to seminary with one of them. I'll just name them. My friend Dale invited me to go to seminary with him. And so I had an open period, my 4B, so I just decided that I'd take him up on the offer.
Sure.
Long story short, I ended up not missing a day of seminary after that. I wasn't ever enrolled in the class, but I didn't miss any days, and so it was kind of weird to see people skip.
Because you're like, I'm going to
I'm
every
like,
single
I'm
one.
trying to
Yeah,
go,
exactly.
and yeah. So it started with that, and then I went with him to his ward a couple times just to kind of get a feel for it again. And a lot of my self-reflection at this point, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a social thing for me, just
Right.
because I had these really good friends that I wanted to spend time with. And I mean, like, you're around your friends and they can inspire you to do things and motivate you to do things like them. And so I didn't want to make it just about me trying to be better friends with them.
Right.
And so I had to make sure that wasn't what I was doing. And so I just decided to reach out to the ward that I'm in boundaries for. And so I reached out to them, and Dale came with me to my first sacrament meeting there. And then after that, I've just been going to my ward there.
That's awesome.
And that's about it up until now.
Right.
Like, I'm just kind of
And now you're here.
I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things. And call me overzealous, but, like, a couple weeks ago, I had, like, a pretty big time with, like, church-related things. Like, at the beginning of the week, a Sunday, my friend Bryce, he's actually leaving tomorrow for Minneapolis on his mission.
Awesome.
Okay.
He's in the MTC right now.
Yeah.
I, like, really want to run over there and say
Yeah.
hi. I wish I could.
Totally should. Don't do
Sounds
that.
hard to
no,
sneak
it's-
into. I used to work there. I know how to get in without the security.
Ooh, okay.
Get, you're coming.
Yeah, he had received the Melchizedek priesthood, like, recent before
Yeah.
that, and then I asked him to ordain me to priest,
Yeah.
and so it was cool to have that with him. And then later that week, I think it was that Thursday, I received my patriarchal blessing,
Hey.
which was
So
pretty
cool. So cool.
yeah, it answered a lot that I was wondering about, and I had wanted to get my patriarchal blessing for a long time. I just hadn't,
Yeah.
or, like, I wasn't active, so it wasn't really an easy thing to go
Right.
do. But there's not much after that. I was able to, like, perform baptisms in the temple for the first time, I think, that weekend also. So it was just kind of a big week.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
This was just a few weeks ago.
I think it was the 9th that I was ordained
And
to priest.
your family's still inactive?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're just it's all you. You
Kinda,
just
kind of doing it on my
you just did it
own.
yourself.
Yeah.
So is it worth it? Is it worth coming back, even though you were baptized as a child?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
It definitely is.
Definitely is.
Yeah, it's never too late to get back into things. I'm glad that I waited until I was old enough to really understand things for myself, but yeah, I think it's never too late to start getting back into things if anyone's inactive or wanting to. I would invite anyone to just act on it and try it out again.
You see, it is a great thing to have a life with God in it, and especially with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so sometimes you're going to be alone in those journeys, you know? Sometimes no one's going to be with you, or you'll have, you know, maybe one person. But I think you just got to do it. You just got to run in.
Right.
And when you do that, you're not going to be disappointed. You know, there might be some hard times, but I mean, think about it. If we just did everything that our families did, and that's that, we would have no individuality. It'd be a pointless life, you know?
This is where tradition.
Right.
That I can tell you in one word. Tradition!
It's definitely a little more like unconventional or a more unconventional way to get back into things just because
Theater. It's Tavia. Tavia did it.
I mean, yeah, Tevye did wonders for me, but also just being surrounded like in an area with people that are like all their entire families go to church, and it's just kind of rule of thumb to go and be involved with church. It's not something I really have at home, and so like I'm still supported and encouraged.
Right.
It's just not really anyone else's thing right now. So
Right. Well, I think it'll be cool to see how your decisions are going to bless. I mean, they already are blessing your family, but they're going to continue to bless them. That's something that was cool when my mom joined the church. You know, like it wasn't long before her brother, and you know, and like who knows? Maybe nobody joins, but they're happier.
Yeah. And then I'm starting papers for a mission.
Okay.
And I'm planning to leave next summer.
Dang,
So
all
awesome.
right, I like
That's
it.
sick.
Yep.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
You're probably going to get called to Salt Lake, you know?
As he's from Salt Lake.
I'm calling it.
They'd be like, you are a
Northeast.
mile away.
Yeah.
I'm calling it Northeast.
Literally, yeah, you get
He's going to serve in Steven Smith's mission. I'm calling it right now.
No, but
Well,
hopefully
hopefully it'll be good if that happens.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being vulnerable, share your testimony, and we hope that everyone else can share their conversion stories, comments, and email us.
Send us a Skype message. We also accept brownies as long as they're not. We hope that all people who
It's
are
never
watching the
happened
show.
before. Yeah.
No, I didn't go to sleep until a couple hours ago, and I woke up. But even if you don't have a pony, you want a horse.
What?
So that's why you gotta get the biscuits. Because even so, that's the way it is.
And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're so grateful for you guys watching the show. We're grateful for you, Collin, for coming on and sharing your story.
Donald Trump doesn't eat quinoa.
We're grateful for Kwaku for actually showing up today. And we'll see you guys later.